The book of John, chapter 7 and verse 24. Lord Yahweh Shai speaking, all right, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. And he says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. I'm going to stop right there. I want to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. All right. So right here in the book of John, the Lord Yahweh Shai, he's telling you to not judge based on somebody's looks. Okay. Now, when you go into this account right here, he's actually going into when the Pharisees were trying to accuse him of breaking the law when he was healing on the Sabbath day. All right. You see, and they were in error. All right. For trying to accuse the Lord of doing good on the Sabbath. All right. But the point is that you can apply this to the Israelite foreigners. Okay. And when I say Israelite foreigners, I'm talking about those Gentiles who are Israelites. Okay. This is a topic that a lot of these wacky tacky Christians always mess up. All right. You see, we have Israelites that look like the other nations, man. You got to understand this fact. Because you get a lot of new brothers and sisters that are waking up to this truth, and they believe that in order to be Israelite, you have to look like a so-called black person. You have to look like a so-called Latino or look like a so-called Native American outwardly. Okay, this is where you have to be spiritual, man. Because due to the fact that we've been scattered amongst all the nations throughout generations and generations, you got to realize that a lot of our people don't look like Israelites, man, but they really are Israelites. All right, according to their father's seed line, because it's all determined by the nationality of the father. The nationality of the father determines the child, man. The child's nationality, should I say? Salakia. Let's prove that really quick in the book of Numbers. Here you have the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. All right. You see that right there, by the house of their fathers. That's the point of this verse right here. Okay. The seed line is determined by the father, man. Whatever the father is, and no matter what type of woman he goes into, all right, or he has a child with, that child is going to be whatever the father is, man. Point blank, period. Okay. And we got to, be mindful of this, because you get a lot of Israelite foreigners or Gentiles that are coming into this truth, man. They're waking up to the truth of the Bible, man. And we can't be quick to cast them off because of their outward appearance. You might see a person that looks like a so-called white man, or might even dress like a white man or whatever, and he's inquiring about this truth, and he's listening and learning. All right, you can't cast them off right away, man. All right, because you're not judging righteous judgment. You could be casting off some of the hopeful elect, man. Some of the elected of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? There's going to be a lot of elect Israelites that look like heathens, man. And you do not want to offend in that manner. All right? You have to be able to judge righteous judgment. That's something that you got to learn, man. All right? You have to learn to judge righteous judgment not according to the appearance. But yeah, I want to go in on a dream that I had. I woke up from this morning, and it was very strange, but it's scriptural, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you the dream that I had, and you can leave comments or whatever, and put your thoughts on it if you have them. But check this out. This is why I'm doing this lesson. I had this dream where I was in a work environment. Matter of fact, let me bring up a picture so you can kind of get an illustration. Hold on a second. Okay, so I was in a work environment, right? And we all got called into a meeting, all right? And it was an urgent meeting, all right? We were all in, this room. We were all sitting down or whatever. And one of the workers came into the room, and he was mad. He was packing up his stuff. He was cussing, and he was leaving. And we were all like wondering, is this meeting about this guy right here? And he was just tripping. He was just pissed off. And, he started talking and he said, I'm not white. I'm not a fucking white guy. And he was just really adamant about, portraying that sentiment, man. He's like, I'm not a white guy. I'm not a white guy. And, I'm trying to remember it as best as I can, because you know how dreams, they kind of fade. But he was really pissed off in the meeting. And as I was looking at him, I looked at him, I said, you know what? He kind of does look like he might be from the Northern Kingdom. Because everybody was, considering him to be a so-called white person, man, or Edomite. All right? And as he was leaving, he said, yeah, that's my brother over there. And there's another worker that we knew, all right? And I don't know why this was in the dream, but he said, yeah, that's my brother over there. And we're like, oh, shit. They do kind of look alike. All right? It was Northern Kingdom guy. And I see the resemblance now. And people were starting to realize it. Because I guess at this particular job, they weren't supposed to disclose the fact that they were related for some reason. But now, he was pissed off. He was just letting it air out. And we realized that, hey, he was related to that Northern Kingdom guy over there. And anyway, one of the women in the dream, in the office, she asked him, so, hey, hold on, what is your last name? And this is in the dream, man. He said this is his last name. And mind you, I don't speak Spanish, all right? But he said, De Arpon. He said, my last name is De Arpon. And I looked that word up in Spanish. This is wild, man. I looked this word up in Spanish. And matter of fact, I'm going to bring it up really quick. Hold on a second. All right, here it is right here. All right, in Spanish, that word arpon means harpoon. All right, and it's crazy how that specific name was in my dream. The guy said that was his last name, and I don't speak Spanish. So this dream is very different, man. Okay. It also reminds me of how the apostles were speaking in tongues, in the book of Acts. And they were speaking different languages that they didn't, grow up speaking. And that shows you the Lord controls the language thing too. It's all spiritual. The Lord controls your understanding of different languages. So that's just another nugget, that I want to bring out, man. That was a crazy dream. But yeah, the point is that everybody thought that this man was a white guy, but he was actually, from the Northern Kingdom, man, a so-called Latino. And the dude, he was pissed off, kind of like this guy you see right here. He was mad as hell. He just couldn't take it anymore, man. And that's how a lot of our brothers feel, and sisters too, man. All right, they get categorized, man, and put into a category that doesn't apply to them. You see, they can go both ways too, because you got a lot of Israelites. You got a lot of Israelites that look at the outward appearance and they accept somebody who is not even an Israelite, man, because you got what they call tares. All right, those who appear to be Israelites, they might have the dark skin, the curly hair and whatnot, but they're actually of another nation. You see, this is why you have to judge by the Spirit. Now let's get a precept on that. All right, here we have the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. All right, you see, it's all spiritual, man. Okay, this is what makes us Israelites, the Spirit, man. All right, now it does go into bloodlines. All right, but the certain bloodline of the Israelites have a particular spirit, man. The spirit of Yahweh Bashmiah Washai. Okay? And that's how you can tell somebody's an Israelite, man. You judge off of their spirit, man. All right? You have to be able to discern spirits too, man. You have to have that gift of discernment. And pray to the Lord to strengthen that, man. For example, the way to tell if somebody is not understanding, the truth. Like, say you're at, you're at camp and you're prophesying or whatever, or you speaking to somebody about the truth, and they vehemently buck up against it, all right, that's a good sign that that person could be a heathen. Okay, now they could be a 2/3 Israelite, just a wicked ass Israelite, but that's a good way to tell, man, because we're only looking for the elect anyway. All right, you see, this thing can get kind of complicated, but it's really not. If you are only searching for the elect, then this weeds everything else out. Okay, but it's a good chance Edomite spirit is at your campus because they buck up against the truth like vehemently, man. All right, and they run off too. They run and hide after you start bringing out facts. A lot of Edomites or heathens, they do that. All right, that's just one of the signs. Speaking as a man, okay. But the Israelite, man, he might look like a white person, but if he's understanding the truth, if you're preaching to him and he's getting it and understanding it, hey, that's a good chance that he could be an Israelite, man. Okay, you got to try the spirit by the spirit. I want to bring this out really quick through the spirit. This is the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter. All right, and it goes into the parable of the wheat and the tares. All right, the wheat and the tares. All right, because this shows you that you cannot judge by the outward appearance, man. Okay. All right, Matthew 13. I'm gonna start at verse 24 and read down. Okay, let's jump down to verse 24. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which is sowed good seed in his field. While men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Now, a tare is a different plant. All right, it's not wheat, but it looks like wheat. All right, they're very similar in appearance. It's almost impossible to tell them apart. All right, by just looking at them. All right, and I believe the tare, there's some kind of poisonous qualities to it, if I'm not mistaken. But they look just like, damn near exactly like wheat. Okay? But the Lord is comparing people to this. All right? So you got to look at it with spiritual eyes right here. So an enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Now this is talking about Esau. All right? Ultimately, Esau, Edom. All right? Because if you understand, Esau went around the world popping the different women of the different nations, okay? Bringing seed forth, man. You got Edomites that were popping Israelite women. That's documented, throughout all of our captivities, man. Especially the transatlantic slave trade, man, where Esau was raping our women, the slave women. All right. He wasn't just doing this to just the so-called Negroes. He's doing it to also the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos, Native Americans. He was popping their women and bringing forth sons and daughters that looked like Israelite children. Okay? But they weren't. They were tares, right? You see? So, continuing on, verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? So they were like, all right, so let's just, get all the tares out of the field, and we'll just leave the wheat. Okay. Verse 29, but he said, Nay, lest while we gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. You see, because he was telling the servants, look, man, I can't have you go out and do that, because you might end up, pulling up some of the actual wheat. You might mistake them, for tares. We can't have that, right? Verse 30, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, which are the angels, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Okay? Now you have to have spiritual eyes to understand this right here. All right? This is a dark saying. This is a parable. All right? And if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you understand that this is the Lord talking about, hey, don't try to discern between the wheat and the tares yourself, man. The angels are going to be the ones who gather the elect up into the barn or the chariot for salvation, and the tares going to be left here to burn. Okay, those who are amongst us that look like Israelites but are actually heathen. Okay, there's a lot of that, man. Like the Tia and Tamara Mowry, those sisters, man, those twins. All right, their father is an Edomite, but they look like so-called black women. There's a lot of that going on. There's men that look like so-called black men, so-called Latino men, but by their father's seed line, they go back to being of a heathen nation, man. Edomites, Hamites, Moabites. Okay, though they might look the part, man, and you can't tell them apart, man, by looking outwardly. So the Lord is telling you the angels are going to be the ones that do the dividing, but you can judge righteous judgment according to the Spirit, man. If they're able to understand this truth, all right, and they have a passion for Yahweh Bashim Shai, then 9 times out of 10, that's an Israelite, man. All right, because a heathen can't get this truth. They can fake the funk for a little while, but eventually they're going to be found out. All right, so here we have Jeremiah 32 and verse 37, and it's talking about how the Lord scattered us amongst the nations. All right, that was our punishment. That was a punishment unto the Israelites, to be scattered out of our land over there in Jerusalem, over there in Israel, and we were amongst all these heathens, man. Okay, and it says, behold, I will gather them out of all countries whither I have driven them in mine anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. It's talking about the Lord gathering all the Israelites from all the nations where he scattered us, bringing us back to Jerusalem. That's what eventually is going to take place, man, upon the return of Yahweh Shai. Okay, he's going to gather the elect. He's going to place us in our own land. All right, in the second covenant, in those new immortal bodies. Okay, but this is the point right here, is that the Lord, he scattered us. Okay, and amongst these heathens, you had Israelite men procreating with the heathen women. And it only takes a couple of generations for that seed to totally look like another nation. So imagine a man, all right, charcoal dark Israelite man, all right, having a Edomite wife, or popping an Edomite woman and having a child. That child's gonna look light skinned, man. All right, lighter than the father. Okay, and then you take that child, right, the light skinned child, all right, who has features of the mother. Say he goes and pops a Edomite woman. Well, their kid is going to be even lighter than he is, and so on and so forth, and to the point where it's going to get to the point where the children are going to look like Edomites, but they have the spirit of an Israelite, man, because it's all determined by the Father. You see, and that's what we got going on, man. And in that dream, that's what was taking place, man. He looked like a white guy, but he was actually an Israelite. All right, here's a visual example right here, okay? And there's many examples, but you see, a so-called black man right here. He appears to be an Israelite, But anyway, look at his wife. She looks like a so-called Edomite, or a so-called white woman, but she looks like an Edomite, okay? And she could be. But look at the kids. Look at the children. They are the seed of their father. Okay, if that man is indeed an Israelite, then those children that you see right there are Israelites. Though they look different, man. They're lighter. They look like another nation. All right? They almost look Puerto Rican. So-called Puerto Rican. Okay, you see how that works? But you will never know that their father was a so-called Negro, man. You can't judge off an outward appearance, man. Especially through all the generations of the intermingling, man. You can't even tell. You might have a so-called black person that could be an Edomite, man. His great-great-great-grandfather was a Edomite. But he has the woolly hair and the dark skin. So, yeah, man. That's the point. All right, now here's the opposite example. You have a so-called white man with a dark-skinned woman, right? You see? Look at the child. The child has the curly hair and the dark skin. If you just walked up on that child, and not seeing the parents, you would think that child was so-called black or whatever. But if that father is indeed an Edomite, then that child is an Edomite. Okay? The father determines the seed line, and a lot of these devils have laid down with our women. That's the enemy sowing seeds of tares. Okay? That child is indeed a tare, not an Israelite, even though they look like one. The spirit in that child is an Edomite spirit. Another quick example right here. All right. Here's the book of Ruth. Or it's not the book of Ruth, but it's talking about the book of Ruth, should I say. And I'll just read this little short paragraph. It says, the book of Ruth tells the story of David's great-grandmother, Ruth, a Moabite woman. All right. That'd be a so-called Chinese woman today. All right. The Moabites are the so-called Chinese. All right. So King David's grandmother was a Moabite, man. Okay. Who attached herself to a Judite family. Could this have been designed as a positive spin for a persistent problematic tradition about David's foreignness? A tradition so controversial that it was excised from the rest of the Bible. So yeah, point is that the man Boaz went into a Moabite woman, Ruth, and that goes down into the lineage of King David. And Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, is from the seed line of David. Showing you that it's all determined by the father, man. The woman does not determine the nationality. And we know that Yahweh Shai is from the tribe of Judah. All right. So his great grandmother, all right, who was a Moabite, all right, a so-called Chinese person, does not, negate the fact that he is an Israelite, man. Hopefully this, is making sense to you. Okay. I ain't trying to make it too confusing, but hopefully, the elect are being edified. All right, here you have another example right here. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 14, verse 21. It says, and Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord Yahweh did choose out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess. You see, she was an Ammonite, a heathen woman. All right. But this is the son of Solomon. Okay. You see? And he reigned, man, in Israel because he's an Israelite, though his mother was a heathen. Okay, that's just another, precept to add to the point. And I'm gonna get ready to close it out. All right. I want to bring this out though. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 6. This is Lord Yahweh Shai speaking, as you can see in the red letter. And it says, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. All right. So this is why you must be careful, man, when you're dealing with different people when it comes to this truth. You don't know if that person could be of the elect, man, though he might look like a so-called white person. He might look like an Edomite. He might look like a Moabite or Ammonite or a Hamite, a Japhite. Okay. He might look like a heathen. Okay. And if you cast him off and and offend him, man, hey, you could be in danger of the judgment, man. All right, if they're of the elect, okay, because we're only worried about the elect anyway. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just be mindful of this because we're in these last days, and a lot of Israelites are gonna wake up, man. They're waking up now. Okay, so don't think it a strange thing that you might come into a so-called white person and they actually, adhere to this truth, man. Okay, so-called Filipino person or whatever, man. All right, I don't want to beat a dead horse. You get the point, man. I just wanted to share that dream that I had because it was very, very strange. But it's biblical. All right, so I'm in it right there. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect, whoever you might be out there. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And Kwam Yasharala in the Bible. Bar Shalom.